All right, guys, so we're gonna do a full review on this 2024 ZR2 1500 3.0 diesel, and honestly tell you guys why you should own one of these trucks, why you're gonna wanna drive it, why you're gonna wanna own it, be inside this truck. But let's get inside where you're gonna be spending 90% of your time and get started with this review. First and foremost, and this is kind of the initial impression opening the door, is sportier truck, right? Not as refined, not as luxurious as, you know, a High Country, as a Denali, but sportier. And to be honest with you, a truck that I would feel better using harder off-road, because it's not quite as posh, right? It's not quite as, you know, soft inside, which I like. I don't mind that. And again, what I'm gonna tell you is color scheme, interior tones, not flashy, not overbearing, not too much. And this is a question I get asked a lot, is the yellow stitching, okay? So you can see the yellow stitching on the center console, yellow stitching up top on the headliner. Guys are like, how is that? Is it too much? Is it too overbearing? And I tell them, to be honest with you, it's subtle. I don't actually think about it. After I'm in the truck, like I've driven a couple of these trucks, I don't even think about it anymore. The initial like opening the door, looking at it, you're like, okay, it's yellow stitching. But to be honest, I kind of like it on the truck. It gives it a little bit different vibe. Again, that sportier vibe. The yellow isn't, you know, it's not this like luxurious posh color, right? You're not using yellow in that. It gives you more of this off-road type of look, which I like. So anyhow, you have that. The other thing is, I will tell you, the way these seats are set up, okay, the sides of the seat, and you can see it here, are raised. So you do have a higher side, which kind of hugs you when you're sitting in this truck. And it sounds weird to say, but it's the truth. Like the bottom and the sides definitely give you more of that, like it kind of fits you in there like you're in a race car, right? Which is cool. It's cool in this truck because it's different and there's nobody else that does it. There's not any other truck that's like this truck. And I like that. I like that. I like something a little bit different. I don't like everything being the same. You know, I think, to be honest with you, it's kind of the spice of life, right? Something different. This is a 2024, which is the first year you could get a 3.0 diesel in the ZR2. So super cool. It's actually the first 3.0 diesel I've gotten in a ZR2. It's the first ZR2 I've gotten in that has this 3.0 diesel. So I was excited for that. I was excited to get the truck in, see how it drives, see how it handles. So you can see, again, I'm doing it right now because we have a, I don't know, 75-degree day here in Pennsylvania. But auto climate control, right? Super nice. We could sync that up so it's all together. This truck has all of the amenities that you would want. And it's set up for that more rugged off-road, you know, use, okay? So heated cooled seats, heated steering wheel, adaptive cruise, normal cruise, your navigation, your, you know, you have the auto start stop, which I said this in another video, but that auto start stop, range fuel management, you can get a device that plugs right into your OBD and it disables the auto start stop. And actually, I apologize, in a 3.0 diesel, I don't know if you can do it. In the V8s, you can get that device. I don't know if they make it for a 3.0 diesel though. Maybe you guys know better. Comment in if you know the answer to that, because that would be good to know. I know you can get it in a V8. I'm not sure about the 3.0 diesel. So anyhow, guys, ZR2, right? So you have front and rear locking, lockers, right? That's part of the ZR2 package. The other part, the big part, is suspension. So if you were saying, hey, I'm comparing this to a Trail Boss, right? First off, interior amenities aren't even close on a Trail Boss, a lot less than a ZR2. But the big part is your suspension. This has the Multimatic DSSV shocks and the factory 2-inch lift. A Trail Boss just has a factory 2-inch lift and like Rancho shocks, okay? Probably a $4,000 difference in suspension there in the shock package, okay? These shocks are amazing, great ride, suspension-wise, overall usability of the truck, you know, whether you're towing, whether you're going off-road. Now the 3.0 diesel, so you're getting better fuel economy. Really good option here in this truck to have that engine. Love that. But guys, this is loaded up with the tech package as well. So you have the rear view mirror camera, right? And we can go here. You can see here. You can adjust all your settings, up, down, right? You can adjust your brightness. How bright do you want it? You have heads-up display as well, where you can go down through and adjust what you want to see there on that screen. That's all on the left side adjustment here. You have your different, so I'm twisting a knob here on the left side, and you have your different modes, right? So this has you know, normal drive mode, sport mode, off-road, and terrain mode, which is interesting because, again, I don't know what the difference is between the off-road and the terrain mode. I don't know, maybe one's snow, one's for actual off-roading. I don't know what the difference is. But anyhow, the Chevy's layout for the center console is a little bit different than GMC's, right? So they are two different concepts there. Your brake controller is up here, okay? So instead of it being down here like a GMC, they put it up here. They give you this little pad to throw spare change on. I don't know what you're gonna do with this little pad, right? Because you can't put a cup here, you're gonna spill it as soon as you start driving. But you have that. This part is a little bit bigger than as well, right? So this actually feeds right into this. I don't mind it, it is a nice design. The best part about it in my mind is your phone still goes right here. So super convenient placement for the phone, and that is a charger as well. So that will charge your phone as well as store it. You have two plugins right here. You have the push button start, of course, and then you have, you know, power adjustable steering wheel, out, down, up, you know what I mean, in. So that is all power adjust, and that is all connected to your memory settings, your preset settings. So your power steering wheel, your power seat, your lumbar, your mirror position, all that stuff is set to it. The other thing, guys, you'll notice on this truck, yeah, here, let's get in here. So little hidden storage compartment. I'll throw these in here, you can see how big it is, right? So nice little hidey hole for valuables, wallet, sunglasses, money, whatever you have to do, out of sight, out of mind. Nice little storage compartment there. You can see that button is right there, right? So again, standard glove box, separate storage there. Center console wise, we have a nice big center console, right? So you got some more plugins there. You have a standard plug-in here and center console piece, which is this is also kind of funky, right? Let's look at this. I don't know why you'd want just a little different, right? Nice big center console. So plenty of cup holders here. You have automatic high beams. You have automatic wipers, of course. You got all that good stuff. Let's look at this here. So actually, this is interesting. So it has the navigation working currently, right? Which means that it still has an active OnStar subscription. There's actually a guy's face there. So this account actually needs to get reset. This OnStar is still active. So you have working Google navigation. Of course, you can pair your Apple CarPlay and Android Auto to this truck, as you can see right here. I don't have my phone hooked up to it, but your Google Maps are currently working on the truck because the guy's an active OnStar subscription, which also means the little speedometer icon, or I should say speed limit icon that pops up here, will also show the speed limit. If you didn't have active OnStar, it would not, right? So two little things there. Different camera views, front camera. You can see we have the passenger door open, so it's not showing that side, but you can see all the other way around it. You go to the back, right? Some trailering hookups, which that's super nice. If you're hooking up your trailer, you can see exactly where it's at, right? So front view, back view, and then side view. You can see we turn the tire. You can see that tire view there, right? So super nice. It is interesting, actually, because this has the bigger tow mirrors on it. This truck has the bigger trailer mirrors. So this camera view is not quite as good as if it would be if it had the smaller mirrors. So something I noticed there. But anyhow, a lot of camera angles and options, guys, that you can get into. Sirius XM. Let's see if this guy has a Sirius XM subscription still. Actually, no, he does. Yeah, guys, we legitimately still have satellite XM radio. So you got active OnStar and you got Sirius XM. If you come by this truck today, you'll have it all, right? So there you go. That's my catch line right there, my tagline, right? So anyhow, the other thing I want to point out, this has the factory all-weather floor liners. This is what I always recommend to guys. But you can see, guys, look at this mat. A molded mat from factory, super clean, fits in there very nicely. That's your factory mat. You can see this is like your deep dish all-weather mat. You don't have to get WeatherTech. You don't have to go get Huskies. That's your factory mat. That is a freaking amazing mat from factory. And they're only, like, literally price-wise, they're comparable or less to WeatherTech, right? So great option there. That's a standard option on the ZR2. You know, would have came from factory most likely with those mats because it's the off-road package, right? Let's check out the back of this truck. All right, guys, we just launched a brand new parts website, okay? It is full of truck accessories. I'm talking 10,000 plus different parts and accessories for your truck. You guys gotta check it out. And I'm talking big name brands, WeatherTech, B&W hitches, deck system, the bed systems. You know, we got stuff from Kurt, Lippert. We got all your, I mean, I'm talking guys from lights to hitches to tonneau covers, running boards. We got it all. And the biggest difference between us and some of these other online parts for sale companies is that you can go on there, you can buy a product off of our website, get it shipped to us for free. Okay, so free shipping if you get it sent to our location. You come in and pick it up here. If you want us to install something on your truck, you want us to install that part on the truck, we can do it. You just drop your vehicle off, we can get it all done. If you guys want it shipped directly to your house, we can do that as well. Shipping's a little bit extra charge on that. So guys, again, markmartinmotors.com, shop truck accessories. It's there now, go check it out. All right guys, so back of the ZR2, you can see here, not a ton of gadgets in the back. You got rear air vents, you got rear heated seats, 2 plug-ins here. You have your window adjustments here for the passengers. But honestly guys, little storage here, some storage in the door, rear cup holders. This will flip down for some more cup holders. And then of course we have our little hidey hole storage compartments in the back of these seats, right? I'll open up this one so you can see it. So you got that, right? So nice little hidey holes there. And these do adjust as well, right? Back of the truck, you can see me sitting in here. I'm 6 foot tall. I was just sitting in the front. I did not adjust that seat at all, but super comfortable in the back of this truck. You got an indentation here for the super tall guys, so you're not bumping your head on the ceiling. Oh, you got some shirt hangers here as well, right? But all in all, guys, very comfortable truck to be in. Plenty of room in the back. Really, I have no complaints there. There's nothing bad to say about that. Ton of room, super happy with it. Let's throw a car seat in the back seat. I'll show you guys what that looks like. I am always taking my kids with me, you know, in a pickup truck, right? Whether we're driving to the beach, to the cabin, to the mountains, anywhere we go, we're taking a pickup truck because I have the whole bed to throw stuff in. But I got a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 9-month-old. They're all in car seats, right? And we throw them across the back, usually the 6-year-old and the boosters in the center, and they fit great, right? They actually are, my wife had a Tahoe, I had her in a Tahoe, and that was tight in the second row, right? The truck is bigger in the second row than that Tahoe or Yukon was, and you know, my son loves it because he can actually buckle himself in, where in like the Tahoe was so tight he could barely buckle it in. But anyhow, let's throw the car seat in here. I'll show you guys what that looks like. You can see here, this is your full-size booster, forward-facing and rear-facing car seat, all adjustable. But guys, this is in the back, and you know, the old trucks, I should say the older pickup trucks, you know, probably, gosh, before 2015, right? They did not have this kind of room, right? It was body style, it was way tighter, and your kids' feet were basically hitting the back of the seat right away. Here they could still kick it, but you got over probably, I don't know, 1.5 feet of room here between the end of the, you know, the edge of the car seat and the back of the seat. And I'll be honest, when I'm driving with my kids, like usually my 4-year-old's behind me, the baby seat will be on my wife's side, and my 6-year-old's in the center. My 4-year-old, I like, unless she's putting her feet out full extension and really just like bracing against my seat, I can't feel anything, right? So like her kicking the seat, never an issue. So if you guys are annoyed driving down the highway and your kids are kicking the back of your seat and it's a 6-hour drive and you're getting pissed off, not gonna happen with this truck. So anyhow, guys, the other big thing with a car seat, right, is you do have your car seat anchors on both sides. Not the center, but both sides. These are both your car seat approved seats. You do have a rear car seat basically for that rear anchor. Anyhow, guys, that's the inside. Let's get to the outside, give you a quick overview of the outside of this ZR2 3.0 diesel. Let's get under the hood of this bad boy, show you this 3.0 diesel. Good luck working on it by yourself, right? Become good friends with your local Chevy dealer, because that's what you're gonna be using. Your backyard shop's not working on this thing. So the 3.0 Duramax diesel, guys, let's talk about that a little bit. That is probably right now my best-selling engine in a 1500 pickup truck, right? So great engine, torquey, power, great fuel mileage. We'll get into those exact specs a little bit later on the test drive, right? So stay tuned. But this engine, and I have guys ask me this all the time, they're like, is it a reliable engine? Is it a good engine? Guys, I have a ton of these on the road, ton of these 3.0 diesels on the road, and really short of, you know, I think there's a DEF tank sensor, because this does have a diesel exhaust, you have to put diesel exhaust fluid in it. Def tank sensor can get basically corroded by that corrosive DEF fluid. It's horrible. Those can go. There's a fuel rail pressure sensor, and there is the belt on the back of the oil pump that basically around 100,000 miles is usually standard maintenance that you have to replace, which is a couple $1,000. But guys, some fluky little issues with it, but all in all, like I would say the biggest issue you may have is standard maintenance at 120,000 miles. You got to replace that belt on the back side of the oil pump. Takes some labor to get to it. Other than that, great engine. We sell a ton of them. Great engine to consider. If you're driving a lot, you're doing a lot of highway travel, this truck will beat out the competition by far just with fuel mileage, fuel economy. This is standard ZR2 front end. Cool feature here they give you for more airflow is a hollowed out bow tie. So that is all hollow, going in there for more airflow, and it looks cool, right? But this is a black plastic grille, right? Black upper, black painted steel bumper, okay? Red tow hooks, red in here. So that's the theme, right, is the red on the outside. White truck. This is also another ZR2 specific option, is this like beefier hood, which is kind of cool. When you're driving this truck feels more aggressive, feels beefier because it has this sitting up on the hood. So when you're driving, it's just got that, you know, more of that off-road feel, I guess I could say. So red tow hooks, higher ground clearance bumper, and you can see here, this is recessed and cut in. So you do have, it's just, guys, all in all, the high ground clearance, the turning capacity, everything about this truck for off-road, if you put a bigger set of tires on, like you can fit bigger tires under this truck from factory. So super nice there. You can see plastic wheel arches, which again, if you're getting into situations where you're gonna scratch the truck up, that does protect your paint, is a super nice thing to have. Standard 18-inch wheel with the Goodyear Wrangler Territory mud terrain tires. That is all factory. What size are these tires? That is a 275/70/18 tire. That's your factory tire on the truck. I don't, like, honestly, if it's me, I'm taking those off. I'm throwing a set of BF Goodrich on. I'm probably throwing a nicer tire on the truck just because those don't cut it for me. But guys, this is also, again, standard height, nothing aftermarket on this truck, 100% factory with the factory 2-inch lift, the factory multi-matic DSSV shocks. And this guy, this guy opted out of running boards when he bought it new, so you have max ground clearance with no running boards hanging down there, right? So painted black door handles, passive lock, unlock. This has the bigger trailer tow mirrors. So that was an option the guy added from new, and it was actually on the window sticker I saw, was the tow mirrors. So these are, and I'll show you this quick, so you can see, because that's another question I get asked. They're power fold and unfold, okay? But as far as your, I don't think, so the top part of this mirror is power adjust. The bottom part is all manual adjust. And then guys, if you wanted to extend it, that is manual as well. You cannot do that power. So you do have that extend option if you're towing, a big trailer with it. So again, cool info there. You do have a light here on the mirror that you can turn on inside the truck that really lights up the side of your vehicle. You can see your 360 camera, right? You have the cameras in the front. You got sensors in the front. Let's go around here. So the other thing, guys, capless fuel tank, diesel fuel tank, not gas. You have your DEF fluid tank there, which that DEF fluid tank in these guys is 5.5 gallons roughly. And from what I'm basically, they're with the fuel average they're giving you with standard fuel economy, you're gonna get probably 750 to 850 miles out of a DEF tank, right? So diesel exhaust fluid, probably every 750 to 1,000 miles, you're refilling that 5.5 gallon tank. Again, guys, going around to the back. So back of the truck, this is the high clearance rear bumper. Your exhaust, your dual exhaust is not integrated into the bumper. That is tucked up underneath for ground clearance, right? That's standard equipment on this truck. You got rear sensors. You have a slow lower tailgate. So this does not have a multi-pro. It's a slow lower, spray and bed liner, ZR2 in the back, some normal wiring there. That is a 120 volt plug, right? So again, this is the standard, 5.5 foot bed. So guys, going around, this is also factory, the black Chevy in the back, black Chevrolet, right? So cool option there, all blacked out, very sporty looking truck. And you can see, guys, all in all, sporty looking truck, not your ultimate luxury, This is more the sporty look, right? So you want the off-road truck, you don't need all the luxury bells and whistles, you don't want to feel like you're driving a Cadillac. That's the truck. But let's get in this thing, take it for a drive. I want to get this thing on the road, give you guys some feedback there on the ride, you know, torque, acceleration, all that good stuff. So let's do that next. All right, guys, let's see how this thing turns. And honestly, I'm just gonna go around this truck here. I was reading something, they were saying the GM turning radius compared to a Ford or a Ram is not as good in their 1500 trucks. But to be honest with you, I don't know that it's really that big of a difference. I know they improved it, you know, of course, so it's probably a foot better turning radius than it was back in like 04, right? So again, we'll just get dizzy here going in circles. But anyhow, guys, let's take this thing out on the road, see how it drives. I'm curious too, right? Because this is the 3.0 diesel in a ZR2. And 2024 is the first year they put the 3.0 diesel in a ZR2 in their off-road luxury pickup truck, okay? I know the, you know, of course, horsepower is around 300 horsepower on this truck. Torque is 495, it's 495 pound-foot of torque. So super torquey truck, very impressive there. And I told you guys this too, I mean, this is my best-selling engine in a 1500 truck. The 3.0 diesel is by far the best-selling engine. And the big part of it is, if you look up just the average, or I should say the average fuel economy, or what they say online for what these trucks are rated at fuel economy-wise, is 20 to 23 mile to the gallon is what they're saying this truck is rated for. And that's in a ZR2 actually, it's not just your standard, this is a ZR2, so with the bigger tires, with the factory 2-inch lift, 20 to 23 mile to the gallon. And I will tell you guys this, I have customers that bought these trucks, not a ZR2, but the standard, just like LTZ or High Country 3.0 diesel, they were getting as good as 30 mile to the gallon on a road trip, right? So super impressive there. It's actually it is the most impressive thing about this engine, is that you're getting something that's not, you know, it's torquey, you know, not the most horsepower, but it's got a lot of torque, and it gets incredible fuel economy. So in a full-size pickup truck, to get a small diesel engine that gets, you can get up to 30 mile to the gallon and still have something that rides and drives super nice. Very impressive. Great job what General Motors did with this engine in these trucks. The other thing I want to go over is your towing capacity, right? And what that actually looks like with these trucks. So this truck's rated, I think, for 8,900 pounds tow capacity. It is less. It doesn't have like the max tow that you could get on some trucks, where they rate them for up to 12 or 12,500 pounds, maybe 13,000 pounds. A lot of that's your gearing, and then they give you like an auxiliary trans cooler and high capacity oil pump, I think, stuff like that. But they still don't upgrade the braking, right? You're not getting a better braking system in the truck. It's still a 1500 truck. It would suck towing 12,000 pounds with this truck. That 8,900 pound mark, to be honest, is really all of it, in my opinion. I don't want to be towing more than 6,000 pounds with a 1500 truck. And on a long trip, I want to be under 5,000 pounds with a 1500 truck. That's me. I mean, I have a 7,000 pound camper. I pull that with a 2,500. I'm never pulling that with a 1,500, right? It would just suck. It would throw me all over the road, you know, and if you hit any sort of elevation, you're working the truck to death. But anyhow, the other thing I wanted to note, so I did drive one of these. I drove a 3.0 diesel in a GM, actually, but similar truck to this, and I picked up a camper in South Carolina with it, and because I wanted to see how it towed, I wanted to see what it was like. And I'll be honest, 6,000 pounds, 5,500 pounds, and I came back up 81, which is all uphill, and from South Carolina to Pennsylvania, so all uphill, up Route 81, and I was averaging 11 mile to the gallon, pulling my camper with a 3.0 diesel in basically a ZR2. So it had the lift, has the wheels and tires, whatever, but I was averaging 11 mile to the gallon, and I went through, gosh, like 2.5 I think total trip I went through like 2.5 jugs of DEF fluid, or at least 2 jugs of DEF fluid, diesel exhaust fluid. Because, and keep this in mind, this truck right now has a 5.5 gallon fuel tank, or a DEF tank, diesel exhaust fluid tank. They say with the fuel economy, with that 20 to 23 mile to the gallon fuel economy, you should get 750 to 850 miles out of the DEF tank, right? Well, if you get 11 mile to the gallon now, you're cutting that in half, which is about right, because it was about every 400 miles, I was having to fill up that DEF tank, and it was a pain in the butt, right? So I will say this: if you're towing a lot, 3.0 diesel can do it, but it's not the most convenient thing, right? If you're looking for convenience, you know, the 6.2 V8, the 5.3 V8, more convenient because it's just gas, right? And you're definitely, you know, maybe not, it's not going to be as torquey, but horsepower wise, you know, it's going to have it. So anyhow, we're getting this thing on the highway right now on the on-ramp. I want to see how this accelerates. So I will say, so if you have this throttle like half position, that's where you're really getting the most out of your torque. If you put it to the floor, that's where you're going to notice the lack of horsepower. So again, merging, and that's to the floor right now. And honestly, if I have that pedal halfway, even 3/4, I'm gonna get more out than I will putting the pedal to the floor, just because when you're utilizing the torque and the turbocharged engine, which it is a turbocharged 6-cylinder diesel. When you learn to drive these, you're basically playing with the turbos, right? So if you put it the whole way to the floor like you would a naturally aspirated V8, that, like in a regular V8, you put it to the floor, you're getting all the power out of it. In a turbocharged engine, you got to play the turbo spool, right? So, and it sounds silly, but if you're driving one of these trucks, if you get one of these trucks, you'll see what I mean. Very impressive engine, and honestly, that's actually the other thing I will say, and I've noticed in driving this diesel engine, it feels heavier. And what that basically means is that I just feel more planted to the road, to the highway. So at higher speeds, you know, I think this truck rides and drives nicer than the V8 editions and the V8 versions, because I feel like, and maybe it's just the feel of it, but this diesel engine, the 3.0 diesel, feels heavier driving it, which basically just in a 1500, in a lighter pickup truck, it's not a 2500, it gives it more, it plants it more to the road, which is impressive. So, you know, in windy conditions, you're not going to get blown around as much. All in all, that is very impressive. Very impressive driving truck. Amenities wise, like I said, you have heated cooled seats. You got some of the luxury items. You know, you don't have a seat massager, so if you have to have the bougiest, you know, best of the best, you got to go Denali Ultimate. You got to go AT4X, right? Chevy doesn't make a massaging seat in their vehicles, which is interesting. Only GMC does. Very nice driving truck, and probably the only thing I'll note too, this has the factory Goodyear Wrangler tires. They are a little noisy because it's a mud terrain tire. I would put, if it was me, I'd throw an all-terrain tire on this truck. That would improve road noise and ride a little bit. So guys, all in all, 3.0 diesel, super impressive. If I'm driving this truck every day, if I'm using the truck every single day and I'm driving it, I would totally buy this engine. It's not the most impressive from a horsepower standpoint. It's not the most fun. You know, the 6.2 V8 is the most fun in my opinion, but this 3.0 diesel it's still a lot of fun to drive, and it is the most practical engine in my opinion. It's got the best fuel economy. Sure, diesel fuels a little bit more, but premium fuel in a 6.2 is a lot of money too, right? So that's the review. That's the full review on this 2024 ZR2 1500 3.0 diesel. Sweet truck, luxury off-road pickup truck. Has a little bit more of an aggressive feel than the high country, right? Than the true luxury pickup truck. Has a little bit, it definitely has more off-road usability. But guys, thanks for watching. Comment in there, let me know your thoughts on the video. But wanted to get all this info out to you guys so you could see, you know, kind of the in-depth, the more detailed review of this pickup truck, of the ZR2 1500. Again, guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to hit subscribe. We're trying to hit that 50,000 sub mark this year. and we appreciate you all.